everyone, we are from the group 4 will present the innovation of Silviculture Technique for rehabilitation of conservation forests. This is our teams. They are Raka, Wan Tjhen, Afnan, Adila, Vini, Febby, Nadya, and Munifah.
Table of contents of our presentation. Introduction, Rehabilitation of Conservation Forest. Case study, Rehabilitation of Bantimurung Bulusauru National Park with Silviculture Technique. Innovation, Innovation of Rehabilitation of Conservation Forest.
In this part, we would like to present about rehabilitation of conservation forests. So, what is a forest rehabilitation? Forest rehabilitation is one of the efforts to reduce the rate of deforestation. Based on Article 40 of Law Number 41, year 1999, concerning forestry, state that forest and land rehabilitation is intended to restore, maintaining, and improve the function of forest and land, so that their carrying capacity, productivity, and role in supporting life support system are maintained. Conservation is the specific goal of rehabilitation activities in protecting forests and conservation forests. The main objective of the rehabilitation of conservation forests is preservation of biodiversity. Conservation forest is a forest with a characteristic that useful for maintaining the continuity of the various animals and plants, including ecosystem, which bring to rehabilitation of conservation forests. Conservation forest rehabilitation activities are carried out by reforestation and plant enrichment. Rehabilitation activities in conservation areas have three specific characteristics. In contrast to rehabilitation in forest areas and other land, namely the consideration of function, suitability, site accessibility, and community as the subject of conservation development. The component of conservation forest rehabilitation activity includes drafting, providing seeds, planting, and maintaining.
Causes and goals. The causes of rehabilitation initiative inside a conservation forest includes illegal logging, unmanageable forest fires, policy failures, and extensive forest encroachment. And the goals of rehabilitation itself inside the conservation forest includes the restoring the functionality of conservation forests. Recent data suggests that the rate of forest degradation in Indonesia from 2000 to 2005 reached the numbers of approximately 1.08 million hectares per year. But throughout the same time, 2003 to 2007, the rate of forest rehabilitation is only approximately 700,000 hectares per year. According to the Directorate General of Perlindungan Hutan and Kawasan Alam (PHKA), the destruction of the conservation zone has reached 460,408 hectares, with most of the damages come from the national park, 384 hectares, and the rest comes from the other establishment run by Balai Besar or Balai KSDA, which includes Cagar Alam, Suaka Marga Satwa, etc.
In this second session, we will present a case study about rehabilitation of Bantimurung Bulusaru National Park with Silviculture Technique. Sulawesi. Sulawesi is one of the most important big islands in Indonesia in the context of biodiversity because geographically it is located in the Walisi area. The rate of destruction of tropical forests in Indonesia is reported to continue to increase from year to year due to deforestation, fragmentation, and fires, which surely pose a threat to biodiversity conservation. North Sulawesi is also not free from the threat of biodiversity preservation like several other islands in Indonesia. Therefore, preventive steps and efforts are needed to preserve biodiversity in this area. So, what is NMFRL? Forest and land rehabilitation is one of the strategic efforts and is a priority policy of forestry development. An occasion to save the forest and land resources from the danger of further enormous destruction, there have been a program, namely National Movement for Forest and Land Rehabilitation, or NMRFL. It is a coordinated forest and land rehabilitation activity by utilizing all the capabilities of the government and the community in rehabilitating forest and land. This program was conducted in the conservation area, especially in National Park of Bantimurung Bulu Saraung, precisely in district of Simbang, Maros Regency. This activity aims to recover, maintain, and enhance the functions of forest and land so that the carrying capacity, productivity, and its role to support the life buffer system will stay secure. Ebony. One of the most important and urgent woody plant species to be conserved in North Sulawesi is Diospyros rumpii, or ebony, because this species is one of the commercial timber species that has a high selling value, while the natural regeneration process in its natural habitat is relatively slow. It is included in the low-growing species, and in terms of light requirements, it is included in the type of semi-tolerant. Thus, the species requires extra handling to optimize its growth outside its natural habitat. The application of appropriate silviculture techniques is needed to optimize the growth of exotic conservation plants in the context of preserving ebony in North Sulawesi.
Alright, so the methods that we can use for ecological conservation include in situ, carried out in a species native range, ex situ, outside a species native range, restoration or rehabilitation, rebuilding of damaged population, community or ecosystem, integrated landscape management, set of strategies that combine protection and sustainable ecosystem usage practices, and formulation of environmental protection related policies. In our case for ebony conservation, efforts will be carried out ex situ at the Arboretum of Manados Forestry Research Center and Batu Angus Research Forest. The base kinetic materials were taken from Bitung, Talise Island, the Talaut Islands, and the Bolaang Mongondo region for the ebony trees.
In this experiment, ebony was grown for 12 months under 25, 50, and 75% shade. Shade level significantly affected plant response. The shading improved plant characters in height and stem diameter. Plant grown under 75% shade level with a wider mulch diameter recorded higher, with an average plant height of 93.8 cm and a stem diameter of 68 cm, as shown on graph. However, plant survival decreases under low shade level at 25% and 50%. Intense sun exposure causes chlorophyll to oxidize, leading to chlorophyll damage. Meanwhile, the remaining amount of chlorophyll is insufficient to absorb and convert all the energy needed, leading to a lower photosynthesis rate. Therefore, it can be concluded that one of the silviculture techniques that can be applied to increase and optimize growth of ebony in National Park of Bantimurung Bulu Saraung is by providing 75% shade and using organic mulch with a radius of 100 cm at the first 12 months of seeding.
In this third section, we'll be presenting about the innovation of plant conservation. The diversity of plants in Indonesia is increasingly threatened with serious extinction, where 437 species have been threatened, and even more than 600 species if the near threat category is included. This condition places Indonesia as one of the highest priorities for global plant conservation. Therefore, Indonesia needs to immediately develop effective strategies for conserving endangered plants. Number 1. Ecoregion-based regional botanical garden development. Targeted of the Global Strategy for Plant Conservation or GSPC has a very close link to the work of the Botanic Garden. It highlights the importance of ex situ collections of threatened plants and the recovery program. The innovative and scientific approach is applied through the construction of botanical gardens of each type ecoregion. Number 2. Modern seed bank. Seed banks is an efficient conservation effort because they do not require large storage to conserve plants because seeds are generally small. Number 3. Reintroduction of endangered plants. The reintroduction method is very important for the survival rate of seeds and also the monitoring program. Number 4. Determination of priority species for Conservation Act. Determination of conservation priority species is a solution approach due to limitations, source of funds, and energy, while the number of plant species that must be conserved is very fast.
The fifth part is mulching the plants. Mulching or covering the soil with certain materials could help seedlings have easier time growing, mitigate potential forest fires, and make them more controlled should a fire break out. They can also help in maintaining wildlife by providing shelter, as mulched soil is known to be cooler than normal soil due to their lower heat conductivity, and they also provide a fair bit of water conservation due to how they are structured. And the last part is the usage of drones. Drones can also be used as a means to assist with a few things, such as supervision and security measures, assisting cultivation processes, and providing emergency responses against unwanted circumstances if necessary.
The following are references that we use. That's all we can explain. If you have any question, please ask us. Thank you for watching.